Okay, hi everyone. So, I thought I'd really, um, coming back from holidays, I thought I'd really come back and start this project and just produce videos and see if I could share knowledge with you and everything. So, I just recently got back from Italy and France. That was a wonderful holiday, and I was there with really good friends, so really enjoyed my time and everything. But, as the title of this says, I got pickpocketed in Rome. So a lot of things. So quite embarrassing. In the end, they did not take away anything. I got the object back, which was my passport or a passport, and but it was a good lesson to learn, and that I'd want to share, and we can discuss a few principles that on my sort of personal debrief on this that I've sort of hit on. So, just to give the background of the story, we did go to Rome, and my wife and I arrived there a few days earlier compared to her friends, so we were able to go around by ourselves. And I did apply a couple of tactics while we were there. So my head was on a swivel. If we look at our situational awareness model, yes, when we're in a good, secure area restaurant, I was on color white, moving around yellow. Some places where it's more popular with all these tourist spots like Trevi Fountain, the outside of the Colosseum, all those popular tourist places where there's a lot of people, just a dense amount of people, which is a very attractive target for pickpockets and thieves. Then I even go to orange, and so that's gone well. Then we saw some friends. The group got bigger. We used the metro. And as the metro arrived, it looked full. I was already thinking of taking a different, waiting for the next train, because it's the metro. A train comes in every 3 minutes. But there was some space, and I decided, let's go. And when I came in, this woman who had one arm hidden under a jacket just really kind of rammed into me, pushed me further into the train. And I could feel something different with that garment over her hand, that's hiding her hand. Maybe there was some sort of cardboard or bag that was really hiding her hand. And her now I know in the end that was her companion, also tried to really squeeze through. She was really forcibly trying to squeeze through my side, and it was that tight that there was no space for her to go to. She gave up, went off. And in hindsight, went off to my other a friend of ours. There was just the two of us that were male, and we had maybe 4 or 5 females with us. So they targeted the males. As we were moving along, it was very tight. I felt the red flags. So that hit, and the hidden hand. Because before that, someone with a jacket draped over her arm did stand next to my wife, but the train was there was a lot more space on the train at that time, and I found it so weird. That was a red flag for me, for someone to stay so close to my wife, and she had a male companion as well opposite her by the door. So I told my wife to come closer to me, because I think we were targeted, but they weren't successful at that time. But going back to the actual situation, I felt some movements. I took my backpack out. I had it in front of me. I was slightly moving it there, and I thought that was enough as a deterrent. And on my sort of fanny pack, my belt bag, I had these carabiner-looking clips on the zippers, which I thought made it secure enough. But in the end, the next stop, she left. A good Samaritan felt something on the floor, picked it up, and it looked like an Aussie passport. I saw it. I looked at my bag. My front pocket was slightly open. That was either mine or my wife's passport. I lunged to grab it. I secured it. I checked both passports. It's back. I have him back, but I have to admit, as much as it hurts my pride, that was a point for them. So they did get the better of me on that. So that's the background of it. And the other one did have a go at our mate, but he had a sling bag that was in front of him, but she aimed too high and ended up scratching his belly. So he felt that, and then he secured his bag, so that was all right, and nothing happened. The other one wasn't able to get anything from him, so they left. But yeah, that was a wake-up call. And all we can do really is, one, there is a little bit of trauma effects on me, which I'll speak on another topic, on another video, which I think is a good topic to speak about, but that's for another day. So, so I think it's a good way of sharing a bit of like self-defense while traveling, defending yourself from these sort of situations. And Europe, my impression now, Europe has a lot of pickpockets. It's a lot of theft, a lot of bad actors who prey on tourists. And pretty much I was thinking those tourist sites. We went to Rome, we went to Florence, that was Italy, that was Paris. Those tourist sites are pretty much up there in most of everybody's top 10 in the world that they want to see. So there's a tremendous amount of people that go there, so there's a tremendous amount of opportunities for them to target people and be able to pickpocket and steal whatever money. But just considerations for this is specific to pickpockets and some theft. They want to be subtle. They want to be subtle about this and not attract too much attention. So that's why they do practice that skill, being able to pick your pocket without detection. Excuse me. And they'll deploy all these different distraction techniques. And maybe I even think that hit on me is partly a tactic to make me desensitized to her leaning on me the whole time, where she can at will have that hidden hand go and steal my stuff. And then hopefully, generally speaking, if you appear to be a hard target or difficult target, it's a target-rich environment for them, they'll go and choose someone else, which is also like a hit on my pride, because prior to that, I thought I was being alert, I was doing things right. I've detected a few high potential bad actors that we were able to avoid, and then at that moment, my guard was down, my mental state was not proper as well, and it just happened. And of course, they're likely to have teammates. So like that, with that incident, we've seen two of them, but we don't know if there was a third one or a fourth one. And they might have handlers or males waiting around to, if there's any trouble, they might be the muscle to come in and intimidate you out of causing a scene, or they're the ones that wait around. I believe I've seen one when we were going around Rome as well. Just because of the behavioral observation I did, like he's just standing there, not doing anything, but I don't think he was looking for a victim. So I'm more theorizing where he's like a drop-off point. Anything they collect, they can give to him, and he can provide some muscle too. But that's me speculating. So those are the things to consider. So yeah, so in our situational awareness model, basically, white being, if traveling, you're in a restaurant, you find a nice corner spot where you see everything, or it's nice and safe, you've secured your bags between your feet and all that, then yeah, you can go white. Traveling around, I would mostly go yellow, and there are times where, as I said before, I really go orange, because they're just all over the place. Or people who I think could be bad actors are just all over the place. So there are also aggressive vendors who grab your hand and put a bracelet on you. to sort of kind of like a ruse to get you to buy their goods. So I'd rather not be confrontational with saying no, having to deal with having to be extra assertive to tell them I don't want to buy your stuff. I'd rather detect them early and then go around and just avoid them altogether. And that we've been able to do a lot. So as taught in the KMG curriculum, we have the different pillars. We have the different pillars, and with this one, I think it will hit the tactical pillar and the mental pillar. All right. So with everything, distance. Distance is key. The more obvious examples is if there's a war going on in this certain country, why would I fly to that country and go on a holiday in that country? Very obvious extreme example, but if there's a rough area, why go there and unnecessarily expose yourself to that sort of danger? Now we look into the more sort of arguable or things to discuss. There's a lot of thievery, pickpockets in Rome, but the attraction is all those tourist attractions, which are pretty much the pinnacle of all of arguably the pinnacle of travel destinations. So, and it's not really a danger to your life; it's more a danger to your property. So a lot of people will still take on that risk, and if you manage it well, it's all right. You will come out of it unscathed. But it is taxing, as we'll say later on, and sort of like where we look at the mental area of this, where even though you're tired, you still have to be switched on and alert, because once you put your guard down, then that's when they can strike. So yeah, main principle: distance. The aggressor or the pickpocket has to be close to you to be able to steal your stuff. There's no other way they can steal your stuff or pick your pocket unless they're next to you, they're really close to you. Just like what happened to me, that lady just bumped into me and stayed, kept that pressure on me the whole trip between the two stations, the two stops. And what you have to consider as well is whatever you do, you will still look like a tourist. These people just know their area enough to just pick out all the tourists. You can't beat that. That's just the experience they have. That you can't learn and beat overnight. So you might as well put that consideration into your tactics to stay safe, other than fantasize being able to put off looking like a local. Unless you're a local and you have local ties, then of course. So and of course, using distance to your advantage is scan early, really look, chin up, look far, really look further out. There have been situations, let's say we took the day train from Florence to Bologna. I was with my wife and one of our friends' daughter as well, and I really had to look out for the group, even though it was more manageable because there was 3 of us, but even a block away, I could see in the park 4 blokes just hanging around, looking around, like potential bad actors just looking for victims to follow or do whatever. And I'm like, I don't want us to go through that park. We'll go around the block, we'll go this way. And that's what we did. And if someone's there, I'd tell them to stay on my left and I'd act like a shield. I'll be in between them. Although we're not passing right next to that potential bad actor, but there's enough reaction time. But we didn't have a choice. There was a tight corner we had to go through, but there's all those tactics you can employ as well. So distance is your friend, as with all. I think with all these videos that we'll do, you'll hear distance first, every time. So what do you look out for? If you have the distance, you're looking out from afar. So specific to pickpockets, they'll have some sort of prop or jacket over their arm. They always want to conceal one arm, the arm that does the picking, because that hides the action from witnesses. And And so that's one way to pick them out. And it feels sometimes in some situations it looks awkward. Like it's a warm day. Why are they holding a jacket? All those things. And then there's also behavioral observation and suspicious activity recognition. So, which is like what I mentioned before. You have someone there that really is loitering around, but with no purpose. They don't even look like they're waiting for someone. Once in a while, they pretend to look at their phone and everything, but you just can tell that they're looking around, looking for someone to victimize other than having any other purpose. So maybe it takes some experience to detect this, but you know what? You're in a foreign country, you're traveling, you don't know for sure. Just err on the side of caution. If, in the end, simple as this bloke looks sus, why attract his attention? Why pass in front of him? I can just avoid, keep the distance and avoid. That's the best thing you can do. And, yeah. Also, the way they project themselves, the demeanor, the way they act, the way they carry themselves, the clothes they wear. So this sounds a little biased, but there is that principle is they wouldn't be stealing money if they had money. So they might look a little bit more derelict in terms of clothing and the way they arrange their hair, the way they fix their hair, the way they generally look and project out to. So you can tell that, and you can pick that out, and of course just erring on the side of caution, just avoid. Even if you do have to walk an extra 50 meters around something, then go ahead. You're traveling anyway. You're going around Rome. You're going around Paris. There's a lot of walking, so might as well just do that. And yeah, general alertness. You just have to. Every block there could be a potential new bad actor right there. So you just have to really keep an eye out, and a few things as well, like. You will be using your Google Maps all the time. Don't just stand there in the middle of the square looking for your directions. I would look for a wall, a side wall, where I don't have to watch out for my back. And usually I'll stay away from a store entrance. I'll stay by a window display. So where there's really I'm not obstructing anyone's passageway. And if there was a nearby passageway, I'm not right next to it where there's traffic going near me. So I have that sort of radius I can maintain. Also with the different walls, don't try not to stay next to the corner, because a lot of people cut corners. So if you stay by the corner, people will cut that corner and you still have people passing right beside you. So you lose that distance, that sort of safety radius. So especially in the busy train stations, like the central stations, where you're waiting for those fast trains, you're going to some other region, right? Like a 50-minute, an hour and a half train ride, that sort of thing. It's good to choose a spot, a good secure spot, where you don't have to watch your back and maybe just your sides in the front as you're looking at the board as to which platform your train is doing. You're going to ride your train from. Because I see a lot of tourists just there, right in front of the board, in the middle of that hallway. I feel like they look like easy pickings. Just standing there, distracted, looking up at the board, and not looking at their surroundings. So all those things you can consider. So with distance, it's just early detection is your friend, and avoidance, and you can just avoid that, which applies to most self-defense stuff. As I mentioned before, the positioning. So don't stay in the middle of the square. I'd always like to go around to the sides. That way I have a good vantage point and see the area, and hopefully detect any bad actors who are also on the sides looking for people to prey on. And then once I detect them, I can avoid, right? Maybe even a deterrent, because they'll be, oh, this guy is looking at me. Maybe he knows I'm I'm planning to do some badness, and they might move on and find another spot. And for the metro, when I really went vigilant after that incident, one, I went to I get the group to go to the very end. So it is a dead end, but let's say the dead end is on this side. We have a full view through that tube, and we know if anyone's approaching us. That's if someone does do that, then it is a massive red flag, and you identify right away. We also stay away from the ingress and egress points. So luckily, they designed their metros where the ingress and egress points are sort of in the middle of the tube, and then the ends are sort of dead ends, and you can choose that end. If the metro's full, we'll wait for the next one. We'll wait for the next one, wait for the next one, right? You're on holidays, you're not really rushing, right? Or you can budget your time. If you have a scheduled tour you have to go to, then you can budget your time to allot for that. I'd rather do that than really risk having them come up next to me and have some sort of, technically you call that an incident or an engagement, right? So I'd rather really avoid. I'll wait for the next train and avoid having something happen to me. And while you're on the train, on the metro, stay away from the main doors or the doors where people enter and exit from, because that's also where they'll hang, because they want, on the next station, they want that easy escape before they're detected or before their victim realizes that something was taken from them. So if you can go deeper into sort of like those bench-style seats that's in between the doors, that might be a better location for you guys, or stay by the opposite wall where you don't have to look out for your back, and you're in a more secure position, a more defensible position where you can detect them. And yeah. And if someone does come close, let's say you do, so you're on yellow, you're alert, a little more alert orange, it's a dodgy place, someone does actually come close to you, arguably orange, maybe a bit of red, right? Because you know they'll try something on you. Then if you can, just move away. And they want to be subtle, they don't want to be detected. So they will think, I think I'm pushing my luck. If I really follow this guy too much, it will be too obvious. So we're hoping that they think that, and then you move away. And then if they persist, then you have to keep moving. You can also try to approach or be in the vicinity of security and police that are around, that them seeing you close to police or security, you don't even have to talk to them or get their attention, but that might even be enough deterrent for them to say, oh, okay, this guy's near the cop, near the security person, I don't want the attention. Then hopefully they'll bug out and just choose another victim or another hunting ground. And yeah, or choose a highly populated area where there's a lot of witnesses, so they don't want any scene to happen or anything to happen that will attract attention to them. So that could also serve as a deterrent for them. And then you're already on the train, and like this was also another thing that happened to us. We were already on the train, and from the other end, some bloke just really went through the crowd to stand on the stairs next to our seats. And I just really thought, why make all that effort to go through the crowd and just stand right next to us? That really made it obvious. I could be wrong, but to err on the side of caution, I was giving everyone the look to like, watch this guy, watch your bags, watch this guy. Because then on a long train ride, you could fall asleep, get distracted, or be looking out the window and he's already picking through your bag and you don't know it. So all those things you gotta sort of watch out for, which goes into that mental pillar, right? Although it does feel like a shame, I'm on holidays, I have to be relaxed and enjoying myself, but that's how the area is. And ultimately, it's not so bad. You won't get stabbed or assaulted or anything like that or mugged, but you still don't want to lose your property. If we look at this specific example, so you just want to you have to have that mental fortitude and to power on to stay alert. Stay alert. Even going home at night, you've had a long day, walking around, seeing all the sights, enjoying all the food. You still have to get home safe. So you have to keep up that mental game, stay alert, and do all these things we just discussed, keeping the distance, try to identify the bad actors as early as possible, avoid, and everything. And it's just the less painful way, rather than having an actual incident where you might have to deploy some techniques, which in the scheme of things, you kind of failed already, because then they would have gone through all these security rings you have had undetected. So, in that example, I failed that. I was in the wrong mindset. I'd like to call it failing that, because I could have easily just really put a hand down and grabbed her hand, and that would have been enough for her to sort of go, okay, I'm caught, I'm out of here and everything. But I was just too gentlemanly with the surrounding females around me, and I was scared that my arm would hit a few places on their body that they wouldn't appreciate. And I just was not switched on at that moment to really be more assertive. And because all the clues were there. And I've had sort of omens days before that where I've had detections. I've detected people who attempted on my wife. I've observed people who could be bad actors on all the places, and that kind of gave me all the clues that I'm not going to be exempt from this. I'm part of the crowd. I stand out as a tourist. I will be at some point. Just statistics. I will be targeted. So that's one thing that would be good, a good lesson to learn and to take on next time. I was also too confident. I thought the locks on the zippers of my belt bag would be sufficient, but totally underestimated the skills of these people. But luckily, nothing was lost. I gained everything back. Even though I had a backup of all the Australian embassy phone numbers and addresses in Rome, Florence, and Paris, it would still be quite a pain in the ass to try to get some sort of emergency replacement passport to try to get home and all this. And I'd rather be eating a gelato than being in the embassy waiting for that sort of emergency replacement passport. So that's all I'll share with you guys. There are those nice prevention, detection, avoidance principles. Everything has to do with most everything. Distance has a lot to do with it, but also the mental pillar. If I was just more switched on, I could have prevented. But I think the one blessing that this happened is that it's a good lesson to learn, and that will stay with me pretty much. And hopefully, you also pick up something from this, from me sharing it. And I want to give you all those tips. This is more of like a traveling context. One of the future videos, we can talk a little bit on trauma. Not the big trauma where you've seen, well, it is similar reaction, but some trauma response, what to expect. Because I did feel a little bit of that due to this incident, but I've had a few little, technically we call it, traumatic incidents in the past, and I've sort of got through them anyway, but I just want to share how to handle that. But anyway, I hope all these tips and discussions do help you guys. And of course, if you want to learn more in the actual Krav Maga global techniques, come see us, come train with us, do a trial. Krav Maga selfdefense.com.au. We'll put all the social media and website details on the description for this. And yeah, hope to see you guys trying us out and train with us. Bye.